Last time on Mysterious Island.
You will come back for us, won't you?
We thought we were dead.
They're a pair of cheap opportunists.
Help!
I think I'm sinking.
No, not so fast.
Who are you?
Friend.
You've kissed a girl before, right?
They want me to fight a duel. Getting killed is almost preferable to staying here forever.
Priscilla, get out of the way!
I was prepared to die.
You can come along with us.
Herbert, they'll kill you.
This is your chance, Herbert.
Herbert, you haven't even touched your food.
What's the matter, old boy? Lost your appetite?
Herbert?
Oh. I wouldn't give those two women a second thought. Nasty business all round, really. Abominable behavior.
They might have been our passage off this island.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Cyrus. Who knows what would have happened if he'd have gone with them? They could have killed him.
I think it was very brave of him to consider it.
It was those girls. They turned his head. Gideon's too. Had nothing to do with saving anyone's life, did it? That's the truth, Herbert.
Joanna, aren't you being a little hard on him?
Where are you going?
If that's what you think, Joanna, there's not much I can say here, is there? I'm going out.
Herbert, there are chores to be done, as you very well know.
I should have gone with them. I could have gotten us help. Or do you actually think I want to spend the rest of my life here with you? It had everything to do with saving all our lives, Joanna. You're the one who's being selfish.
Herbert! Oh, dear. Oh.
Joanna.
It's all right. It's nothing. Right. Is everyone finished?
Oh, here, Joanna.
It's all right. You can manage alone, thank you.
Well, I'll see where Herbert is.
He has a point, Joanna.
You mean Herbert? His point is that I'm an overbearing, overprotective woman. Is that what you mean?
No, not that. It's about making decisions for himself.
Would have been a wise decision to get in a ship with a bunch of cutthroats, would it?
No, I don't mean that. But he's at an age where independence means a great deal to him. And I remember how he feels. When I left Virginia...
You went to school, Cyrus. You didn't join a band of roving pirates.
Well, the circumstances may have been different, but the feelings were the same.
But he's not your son.
I know that.
I've spent years trying to protect him and care for him, and now what? I'm supposed to not care anymore? Forget that I'm his mother? You don't know how it feels to...
Joanna, I didn't mean it.
No.
Joanna, are you all right? You're so pale. Why don't you go and lie down? I'll finish this up.
Stop it. Would you just stop hovering over me? Oh, leave me alone, Cyrus, would you?
She's wrong, Leon. I wasn't only thinking of the girl.
I know.
She's really quite upset. Give her a little time, then go and talk to her. It's been a long day. I'm gonna stretch my legs.
I'd do anything for her.
I think she knows that, Herbert.
I just want to get away from here.
You're not the only one, my friend. That's how we all feel. You and Joanna are family. Must be nice having someone love you as much as she does.
Can we last?
This should be enough for the morning.
She's gone to bed. Talk to her in the morning. Let her sleep.
Looks like there may be a storm approaching. There's a bright ring around the moon. Where's Joanna? Ah. How's the net looking?
It'll do.
Good. We should start out earlier than usual in case we do get hit by a storm.
Storm, you say, Captain? Be prepared for much more than that.
Please give it to me. Please. Can I see my baby, please?
I don't think I can bear to lose you. I am a fool. And I do love you.
You look as if you're running away.
As a matter of fact, I am.
I thought you were serious for a moment there.
I am serious.
Huh? Well, where are you going?
I'm going to Ayrton's.
What for?
Because I want to be on my own. There's nowhere else I can go, is there?
Look, Joanna, last night, Herbert didn't mean...
Would you tell Herbert I'm not angry with him? I'm sure you'll all be fine without me for a while.
But you can't... Wait! Joanna!
Look at the size of those waves.
No, we won't be able to fish in that. We've just enough time to gather some muscle before the tide comes in. Come on.
An opportunity presents itself to control and mold a human life from almost its beginnings. It is an opportunity not to be missed.
Mine, Mr. Spilett.
Gideon! Joanna!
That'll have to do. Let's go.
The net! It's caught on the tide. Coming?
Be careful, Herbert. It's not worth your life.
I knew I shouldn't have left it there. Got it?
Go.
I will not lose this child or you, Joanna.
Annette's on the end of that line.
I don't know whether you're a fool or a hero, boy.
Joanna!
What?
We must fight Joanna!
What?
Where is she? She's gone to Edmund's hut.
She'll never make it in this storm.
I tried to stop her. She gave me the slip.
Well, she must have turned around and gone back.
Let's hope so. Come on.
She's not here.
She can't be far.
I'm coming with you.
No, she may come back. Help Gideon seal the place up as best you can.
But Captain,
Captain, wait! She left a note!
What? A note?
She left it on his bed. Here, let's get that chimney blocked, eh? Right. Let's get out of these wet clothes, huh?
He will find her.
I hope so.
Joanna!
We should be out looking for her.
Look, Herbert. It's not gonna do any good at all if she gets back here and we're all lost out on the storm.
Then the minute it breaks, we go.
Definitely.
Why would she leave him a note?
I don't know. And it's none of our business, all right? Here.
Joanna!
Herbert,
There could be something important in here.
look. It's bad enough we have to live on top of one another without invading each other's privacy.
But Gideon...
All right. Do what you want. But hurry up about it, eh?
Jack, no.
Joanna? Joanna? Can you hear me?
Jack.
Joanna, you must listen to everything I say.
Jack, is that you? Don't understand.
But I do, and you must do everything in your power to help.
Am I going to die?
I don't think I can bear to lose you.
Jack?
I am a fool. And I do love you. I am so sorry. And I do love you. Joanna, it's all right. Joanna, I brought you here to help you. Joanna, I need to ask you a few questions. And then everything will be all right. Jack died trying to protect you, didn't he? He must have loved you very much.
Who are you?
And you loved him, didn't you? So this child will be very special. No, you must lie still. You must lie still.
Don't you see? Don't you see?
What is it, Joanna? What is it?
I cannot have this child.
You were born in Ireland when?
1835.
So you would have been 7 or 8 then, during the Great Famine. Tell me about your father. Was he a poor man? Was he rich?
Poor father.
You had brothers and sisters.
One sister.
Where's your family now?
All gone. All gone.
Why did you leave Ireland?
Wanted to be a nurse.
You went all the way to America to do that.
Mary wouldn't come.
Mary stayed. Why?
To care for father.
And you never saw them again.
No. I begged her to come, but she wouldn't. Oh, Mary. She stayed with father till he died. Then it was too late.
Too late.
Oh, Mary, forgive me. I was sick of it all. People starving, children dying. I couldn't bear it. So I ran away.
What happened to Mary after you left?
She married a man from the village, but she couldn't. She was never strong. Just like Mother.
But your mother had children, you and your sister.
She wanted more. All she got was the pain of losing them.
You had other brothers and sisters.
2 stillborn.
Did any of Mary's children live?
No. Just like mine would.
How did your mother die?
She died giving birth to Mary.
What happened to Mary?
She died.
In childbirth.
And the baby, too. I wasn't there to help her.
Listen to me, Joanna. You're strong. I am here to help you. You must both live.
All right, Herbert. We'll take shelter in the storeroom. Use the tabletop. Keep the wind out.
Right.
Just here. That's it. Right. Joanna!
Joanna! Joanna!
I am so sorry.
Poor Joanna.
Why did you leave us? Such a waste of a life.
I'm not dead.
2 lives. She was going to have Jack's baby.
I will have the baby.
What are we gonna do without her?
I'm here. I'm not dead. We're both going to live.
Rest. Peace.
I am so sorry, Herbert.
Help me. Please. My baby. No. No.
Herbert! Wake up! Stormclover! Come on, help me with this.
Finally.
Better take a blanket with us.
Good idea. Well, no sign. He must have found her and taken shelter for the night.
Who knows? What a night. book. It's Joanna's. She took us with her yesterday.
Well, then she must be around here somewhere. Joanna! Maybe she made it to Ayrton's.
It's possible.
God. Oh, what's happened?
A branch fell on my leg.
You didn't find her?
No, I found her things, but not her. It was all I could do to shelter for the night. I've just been to Ayrton's cabin. She's not there.
Like this? Let's get you back to Granite House. Have a good look at this leg.
Where could she be?
Don't worry, Herbert. We'll find her.
Did it happen? I know it did, but it still seems almost impossible. I'm alive, and my baby isn't. Who was that strange man who helped me through it? Did I dream it? No, he was no dream. Cyrus, I know I should tell you about him, but if I do, I'd have to tell you everything that happened last night. And I can't do that. Last night will go with me and share it to my grave. I used to tease you about your inability to share your troubles. And now I must keep my feelings to myself. I just can't have people look at me with pity in their eyes. I couldn't bear it, Jack. Please give me the strength to keep my emotions hidden. Bye, Jack.
Just sit me down over here.
Are you sure?
Yes, go.
You
She
all right?
may be hurt.
Joanna?
Joanna, where have you been? We thought something had happened.
We were just coming to look for you. You look wonderful.
I'm dry. Hey, sit down. Tell us what's happened.
Cyrus, what happened to you?
A tree fell on my leg. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, really. I found some shelter. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. We're all back together again and safe.
Right. I'll get that chimney cleared. Start a fire.
Where have you been all night?
Herbert, could you get some flatter wood for Cyrus's leg, please?
Right.
See what we can do about this. Where does it hurt? He might have fractured it. But at least the bone hasn't moved. Cyrus, I'm sorry. If I hadn't to run off like that, it wouldn't have happened.
Where did you go?
I was safe from the storm.
You didn't get as far as Ayrton's hut?
No. No, not that far.
Why did you run off so suddenly?
I left you a note. Didn't you read it?
No.
Well, they're not very flat, but will these do?
They're fine, thank you, Herbert. I left a note on Cyrus's bed. Would you go get it, please?
I have it. I put it in my coat for safekeeping, to keep it out of the wind and rain. Here. I didn't read it. Well, I'll go help Gideon with the chimney.
I'll never ask you what was in it. I just want you to know that I care for you. Very, very much. We all do.
I know.
Herbert? Wait there, I want to talk to you.
I'll get the wood.
Herbert? I really do love you very much.
I know.
Not just because you're all I have left of your father. Because you're you. Look, I was wrong to try and make your decisions for you. About going off with the pirates, I mean. I was just worried about you. Should have trusted you more.
I did make my own decision. And I accept the consequences. And I'm happy that I chose to stay here with someone who means more to me than, well, anyone else on the island.
Herbert.